Stop being poor. Stop using this "I'm not ready to pull the trigger" mindset, because you are pulling the trigger by not doing anything. You're just deciding to do nothing. You're deciding to stay poor. You're deciding to do the same thing, get the same results, and be in the same place months and years from now. Money loves speed. Wealth loves time. My name is Brian Pannuzzo. I'm an executive coach that helps successful professionals get wealthy outside of the office in their mind, their body, and their relationships. I'm an expert at this because I did it myself. I sat in your seat inside of corporate America for 2 decades. If I can do it, so can you. Welcome back to the show. This is the Success Lift podcast. My name is Brian. I am so appreciative of you being back with me again. We are deep into the fall, deep midway into the fall. Shout out to everyone who enjoys slightly cooler temperatures, who doesn't love humidity, who likes to get out and move. Shout out to everyone who plays fall golf. No better golf out there than a crisp fall day where you're out on the golf course, a little breeze, a couple of leaves flying around. It is my favorite time to play golf. And so if you're getting after it on the golf course on the weekends, of course, we can't usually play as much during the week because we're back at work, back on the grind, heading into the fourth quarter. But we definitely get our weekend rounds in, and we squeeze maybe a Friday afternoon round in or something like that. This week, I want to talk about a business idea that I heard recently. You know, I'm still a younger entrepreneur. I'm still growing and building a young business that's doing very well, but man, do I have a long way to go. And so I'm a student of the game. It's one thing that, you know, in my physical transformation that has evolved over the course of 10 years, and it's come in different stages, and I'll tie all this in. My transformation has come in different stages. So has my mental transformation come in different stages. And I've started to educate myself more on certain things now that weren't relevant to me, 10 years ago, and so on and so forth as we move along. And so you never really stop learning. And so I hope that you continue to open up your mind to different things in your world and outside your world, really. And so I'm constantly listening to different things, watching different people. I try to keep the circle of influence tight in my life, not because there aren't other really incredible voices out there, but there are so many. There are so many podcasts. There are so many coaches. There are so many gurus. Many of them are fake as fuck, but that's a topic for another day. That you can get overwhelmed. You can paralyze yourself with information. Information has never been more readily available. Why have many of us not done a damn thing with it? Right? Everything that I talk about here when it comes to your mental and your physical health and performance, I haven't made up. Now, I've taken my 20 plus year experience and filtered it and hopefully delivered it in a way where you're like, yeah, that makes so much sense. That's exactly what I could do in the moment at work, or before the client dinner, or before the business trip, or when I get home with the family and I'm busy on the weekends and this guy knows what the hell I'm doing. I do, because I still live that life. And what better filter to take things that are true, have been true forever, screw them up yourself, filter it, make some adjustments, and then package it up nicely and deliver it to the very busy corporate executive, the busy professional, the busy parent, the driven mom or dad, the person who wants more out of life except or in addition to the money in the bank that they have, the title at work, the managing director, the whatever. There's more to it for you out there. Not that what you're doing inside of your career isn't important. It's extremely important. but you are meant to do more. You're meant to walk around in the body that you desire and deserve. You're meant to have that confidence flow throughout you, drip off of you, as they say. You're meant to have a relationship that's like a 12 out of 10 and not just, you get lucky once in a while. Things are good for a couple weeks and they go back to the way they normally have been. All of these things are meant for you. I believe that because, like I say in the opening, if I can do it, so can you. And there's aspects about me that are incredibly special. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing the work. I'm just doing the work. And so I came across this quote. I don't know. It was a little lesson inside of business. And I started to think about it. I'm like, yeah, that really makes sense. And then, of course, my mind is always turned on to how I can turn something into maybe a lesson inside of your personal life, your physical appearance, your mental health and performance, your relationships. And I'm like, well, this is exactly like all those things. And so the quote I heard was, money loves speed, wealth loves time, poverty loves indecision. Money loves speed, wealth loves time, poverty loves indecision. And so that makes sense to me as I started to think about it. And I started to think about things that I do in business, that I used to do, that I still do in business when it comes to money, right? If you think about speed at which we can create some money, create some activity, we can grind. I would come into the office some weeks, in the last version of my trading career, where it was just about getting bonds to trade between one person and another. I just was the guy in the middle. And so some days, quite frankly, I came in a whole lot more motivated than others to get those bonds to move via me because they were moving. I just had to be the guy who found them to move through the toll. I wanted you to come through my toll and not somebody else's toll. And so I would come in and I would say to myself, I am low on P&L this week, this month. I am highly motivated, whatever the case may be. But today, I'm going to make it happen more than I have in the past 2 days. Or this week, I'm going to sprint through the finish line of the month because we got paid commissions on a monthly basis. So the last 3 days of the month, you got paid much sooner because you got paid on, I don't know, the 15th, let's say, of the next month. So if I did a trade on the 2nd of the month versus the 28th of the month, I got that money a lot quicker. And so, yeah, you were a little bit more motivated. And so you could come in and I would just get on the hamster wheel and I would make sure that I got shit done. And while you couldn't always force everything that you wanted to, you could force a trade if you knew what you were doing. And so I oftentimes forced things to start to move. And maybe that meant the first trade or two wasn't profitable in the way that I wanted it to, but trading begets trading. Volume usually begets more volume. And typically when there's volume, there was money in my world. For anyone who's like, dude, what are you talking about these trading references? We've all pulled all-nighters. We've had monthly deadlines, quotas, quarterly, demands that we've had to meet, and our backs have been up against the wall. And you just make it happen via speed, right? Doesn't that make sense to you guys? Cool. Okay. So to me, the money part is taking quick, repeatable, fast actions. Move on to the wealth. Wealth for me, I think about like building a massive company, building a big real estate empire, right? Building something via compound interest, maybe your retirement portfolios. So wealth doesn't happen in a 1, 3, or 5 year span. Usually. Think about companies that have been around since the early 2000s or the late 1990s. Amazon, right? these companies were very small. Apple, these companies were very small at some point in time. Now they're massive. They're behemoths because they've had the compounding effect of time. And so you can't build wealth without time. You can buy one investment property and then another one and another one. At some point, you might start to buy chunks of properties. But your first few, maybe even your first 10 or 20, you're buying one or two at a time. You're usually not buying blocks of 5 or 10 properties. You buy one business and you run one business at a time. Then you go open up another business. And you usually don't look at a portfolio of businesses until you have many businesses that you're able to fold them into. So I think it makes a lot of sense to you. I hope it makes a lot of sense to you that wealth loves time. Wealth, I would change that to wealth needs time. It almost needs time in every sense of the word. And poverty loves indecision. And that was the message to the people who were listening to this talk. If you want to stay poor, the one thing you should do is nothing. Because no matter what it is that we're talking about, if you don't change what's not working for you, nothing is going to change. And that's where my mind started to swirl around a little bit, where it's like, this is completely relatable to, let's just call it a physical transformation, because that's always a very easy comparison, right? Money loves speed. Well, in the physical world, that would be taking action, right? Deciding to do something different, not really having a plan, just saying to yourself, I'm sick and fucking tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of looking at myself in the mirror when I get out of the shower. I'm sick and tired of putting this outfit on that I know doesn't fit the way it should or that I want it to. I'm sick and tired of not feeling the confidence when I walk into a boardroom, into a sales meeting. I'm sick and tired of feeling this way every day when I wake up, needing coffee at 3 p.m. because I'm fucking exhausted, not being able to do certain things physically. I'm tired of that. So I take action. I do something about it. I don't know what I'm doing. When my wife came to me and said, I'm not so sure about our future together as a husband and a wife, I just started to take action. Now, I understood what I was doing because I was an athlete all my life. I wasn't that far from being completely removed from fitness. I understood that I was taking action to get in shape. I didn't know why, but I just knew that was one thing I could control. And so I just started to do something different. Okay? I just started to get quick results. And so the money part of your transformation, the speed part, that can be 1 month, 3 months, 6, even up to about 12 months of your transformation. So when I work with people, the speed component, the speed block, right, where we make money is in that first year. First year working with someone, we make money. We get you down from 250 to 60 pounds, down to 210, down to 200, down to 217. I don't know, whatever it is, but you're still not there. You're still not where you know you're capable of being. You thought that was the goal. Here's the other thing. It's like the other component of why I thought this was so relatable. Like, how many people who don't have money just want money? Like, I just want more money right now. I mean, I got money, but I want more. And I'm probably close enough to having enough money to know that what I really desire is wealth. And I have a little wealth, but I want a lot more wealth. And so anybody who doesn't have money, they just want money. They want money now. They want to feel secure and safe now. You want that scale to go down now. You want to look a little bit better now. You don't need to have all those abs. You just want to have the gut not hang over. You just want your kids not to slap your belly or something like that. You don't want those backhanded comments from people. You just want that to go away. You want that speed. And so that's the first 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, however fast really you make it. Now look, if you have hundreds of pounds to lose, it ain't going to be 6 months. Quite frankly, if you have 50 pounds to lose, it's probably not going to be 6 months. Now, I know people who have lost 90 pounds in 8 months, 9 months. But that's rare. If you think about like a couple of pounds a week for somebody who's very overweight would be phenomenal results. There's only 52 weeks in a year. So we're talking about 100 pounds on somebody. That's phenomenal. 2 pounds a week. More likely, it's probably like a pound a week. There's always going to be a couple of weeks in there where we go a little backwards. We back and fill a little bit on that stock chart. So most likely 50-ish pounds for a year for somebody who needs to lose a lot is a remarkable result. And that's sustainable weight loss. Sustainable. That's probably not coming back. So we take action when we don't necessarily know what to do. We just need more of it. We need more money. So we get out and we take action and we get quick results, right? I can force it to trade. I can go take 20,000 steps today and I can starve myself. How long does that routine last though? Depends. The wealth component to this, I view as like, how long does it take to become elite? And that's year 2, well into year 5 or so. Now, understand that there are levels to all of this. Okay. I am now 10 years into a transformation journey. And I would say it had different categories. It had category 1 of I need more money, even though I didn't need more money. I needed a whole lot less. Focus on money and more on me. But for sake of the example, I needed more money. I needed to take action. And that was a 2 to 3 year period for me, but really condensed into like 6 months to 12 months. That first 12 months was just about put my head down and do something. Save my marriage. Do something. I got it away from the danger zone and I entered a different stage of wealth creation inside of my professional life. And when I say that, I mean, there was so far that I was willing to take it until I hit an upper band, an upper boundary range. And then I've had other phases where I've had these quick money sprints of accumulating more money when I left my Wall Street career and restarted everything. So I'm kind of in this like second phase of my wealth building, my wealth creation when it comes to certainly my physical and my mental transformation, and certainly with my relationship. There are aspects of my relationship where I'm extracting the value now of time and effort that I put in years ago. And so I see myself building wealth in those 3 domains of my life right now because of the amount of time that I've put into it. And so it's going to take you 2, 3, even 5 years to become wealthy in some of these categories. That's the mistake I think a lot of people make, and the cool transition that I see them go through. This week on my client-only message, my Monday morning call to clients, I mentioned to them that it's a very cool transition to watch happen. I can see it coming. I see it coming from a couple of weeks before, and then I kind of know when it's happened. And then I watch the coiled, I've mentioned this to them, Jesus, recently, a coiled spring. A lot of times we're putting in effort and we're not going anywhere. And that spring is just being compressed down. And then bang, that spring releases and holy crap, this person is shot out of a cannon. I know a couple of my clients right now who are in the process of both coiling the spring, and a few have been shot out of the cannon. And it's cool to watch for me, knowing the signs now. And so I told them, when you start doing these things that we're doing right now to get the result that you think you want, when they just become things that you do, that's the evolution into mastery. When you stop eating a certain way to get a result on the scale, when you stop going to the gym to burn that fat, when you stop doing your cardio because you need to look a little bit better, when you stop doing all this stuff, waking up early because you have a new fitness routine, or going to bed early, or not watching Netflix so much, or not scrolling on your phone so much. When you stop doing these things because you think that they generate a result for you, and you start doing these things because that's just who the hell you are, that's when you're on a really cool path to being masterful at some of this stuff. And that's when you're building wealth inside of these domains of your life. And so again, just to refresh, you can't build multiple businesses at once. You typically build one. And so I have surgeons that I've worked with that have owned multiple surgical centers, have been the leaders and accumulated multiple practices, right? You usually start think about a trader. Here's your one sector. Here's your 3 names that you can start to trade when you're young. Don't screw it up. 2, trading 4 different sectors. 2, running a desk. 2, running an entire floor. These are the evolutions of wealth creation over time. And so you need that compound interest. You need to develop aspects of what you're doing that become identity change. I have a lot of people starting to travel again who I work with. And an easy tell is some of the prep that we do for the people who are traveling. I'll help you get ready for any trip. We'll game plan any trip that you have. We'll pick the hotel based on, what you need to accomplish. Does it have a gym that you need? Are we just going to get workouts in the hotel room? Is it a trip where you just get steps in? Don't worry about workouts. So we're looking at menus. We're looking at travel schedules. We're laying out your entire schedule so that we know when you're going to get steps in, if you're going to get a workout in, how you're going to manage aspects of the day. What's the most important part of the day? Is it usually that dinner at night that we're sort of leaving some room for or managing around? Is it a cocktail party for 4 or 5 hours where you're like, we actually have to figure out how to get some dinner in on one side of it or another, and we don't turn it into this 7-hour session of alcohol and pretzels at the bar, right? And so we talk through all of this. When are we flying? When are we coming back? What's our routine on the bookends? Because that's probably more important. So when we have this prep and they come to it with, here's the hotel. I chose it because of this, because I can get a workout in. I'm doing it here. Here are my 2 mornings. I'm going to get it in. I get some steps in here. I'm going to order, a lean filet and veggies and just have 2 glasses of wine at this steakhouse. This place is kind of a disaster. So, I'm going to use this as like kind of my heavier calorie night and just enjoy myself because, oh, by the way, check out the menu. It looks pretty sick. So it's like when you come to me, I'm bringing my protein. I'm bringing my first Phorm protein. I'm bringing my AG1. I'm bringing these things. I'm getting workouts in on each side. So I don't have to worry too much about the intensity of the workout. It's just more of I want to feel good. I want to burn something off. I want to get a sweat in, all the things. When you're doing those things ahead of time, that's when I know we're in wealth creation stage. We are wealthy. We have developed the identity of somebody that doesn't go away and just give it away. You can take me anywhere and I will bring some of my habits. I am going on an incredible golf trip in a couple of weeks with my closest friends in the world. And it'll certainly be a trip where I am not my usual 95-5, 90-10 type of self. But I'll wake up, I'll get some movement in, I'll get some push-ups in. There's probably a gym there. I may hit that. I'll get some protein in, I'll drink my AG1, and then I'll pour a vodka at 8:30 a.m. I won't eat like complete shit, but I'll have a bacon cheeseburger and fries, but I probably won't eat waffles for breakfast because I'm not a child. And so I may handle my business, find some Greek yogurt, eat some eggs, maybe don't blow it out for lunch, get a bunch of protein in as much as possible, and then just enjoy myself. So it's like, you can't take me anywhere and have me not do some of these things because it's who I am. I don't give a fuck where I am. I don't care if you think me getting on the ground and stretching a little bit or mixing up a protein shake with my packets that I brought or pouring my AG1 travel packs in a cup, filling it up with water and drinking some green juice in front of you is not normal. You're fucking not normal for the way you look and feel every day, and accepting that's your reality. You're not normal. All right. I'm perfectly fine the way I am. And I don't give a shit if you think otherwise. And that is when you know you're wealthy. Wealthy. Because you know you walk around and you do these things for you and for nobody else. You don't care about their acceptance. You don't care what they think. You know it produces results. You have so much evidence to suggest it. It would be idiotic for you not to do it. When you look at the returns of your portfolio and you go, this has produced returns. When you look at the business and go, this process has provided us more profitability and growth than we've ever had in our life. Why would you ever abandon that? You wouldn't in your business. And so once you develop a system, a formula that works, I don't even know what's over here right now. I just keep going over here like this. Shout out to everybody on YouTube right now. My whiteboard's over there. That's why. It's like the whiteboard. When you look at the whiteboard, when you plug it into the model, I say this all the time to my financial professionals. If you sat down and put it in the model, put it in the spreadsheet, looked at the plan at the one pager when it was done, would you do this again? Would you invest in this? Would you put your capital behind this? If it's a resounding yes, which is usually what the new plan is, why wouldn't we keep doing it? Why wouldn't we come back to it? When we made a mistake and got outside of our trading principles, why would we just throw it away? If you have a very strict discipline for how you trade and invest money, and maybe this is how you buy homes, how you buy an investment home. Maybe the world got to you a little bit in a certain era of time and you had to stretch. You bought a property that was a little bit more expensive than you thought. It was a little bit more aggressive financing terms than you really needed. The renter was a little bit less desirable than you like. The area was not exactly the one that you wanted, but you felt like you had to do it because this was happening everywhere around you. Do you continue to do that when you realize it was a mistake, when that renter doesn't pay you, when you aren't cash flowing every single month because the economics don't quite work yet? Would you go, I'm going to do 15 more of those? Of course you wouldn't. You would learn from the mistake. You also probably wouldn't go, you know what, this whole investing thing, this cash flow thing, this making money without me doing a whole lot thing. It's not really it. I'm just going to not do it. I'm going to go back to doing nothing. Doing nothing, indecision equals poverty. And so to tie this all in, that's what we ultimately end up doing, is we make mistakes in these areas of our lives. I started to do things differently with my wife. I started to see some money. I made some money in the relationship. but it's taking too long. It didn't quite work this week. And so fuck it. I'm going to stop doing it. And there is your broke ass again. Poor as hell in your own household with the woman that you just want to be around. And you can be this incredible leader outside the office, the man, the centerpiece of a boardroom, a meeting. But then you go home and you're like the one person that I just want to be myself with, that I just want everything that I desire with, I can't get. And that's not the lady's fault. Ladies, we could work a little harder on your end as well to incentivize your man. Talk more about this stuff that I'm learning myself too. But guys, like, you just stop doing it. You go and sulk and pout. Like, there's been times where I'm like, well, screw it. I'm not going to try. My wife can hold out a lot longer than I can, boys. All right. So our indecision, our constant restarting is making us poor. If you scrapped what you thought was going to work, what you knew was going to work inside the office every single month and tried something new, poor. If you just completely would wing it in a different investment process several times a year, probably not making a lot of money. If you know that what you're doing right now has not worked, and let's be very clear, it's black and white. It's either working or it's not. You have the data. You can step on the scale. You can take off your shirt. You can get honest about the stats in your marriage. You can get honest about how often you're using vices to sedate. If we put that all into the model, it would be very clear what your returns are. If that's not working, if you wouldn't invest in that, if you wouldn't buy that business, why aren't you doing anything about it? Why do you have indecision and poverty in your life when it comes to that? So the first thing you can do is go make money, go take action, go spend a month doing something different. And don't quit. Don't stop after a month. Maybe titrate what you need to keep, audit it, and do something else. Maybe you should just hire a professional to guide you, who's been there, who works with people like you, who maybe even was you. But if that person is not someone who you're listening to right now, go hire somebody else. I don't give a shit. I have as many clients as I've ever had. Yes, my business is going to grow still. Yes, I would love to have my business grow with people that I want to work with. But there are so many coaches out there. I can't service them all. Go to another program, hire somebody else, get accountability in your life. Stop being poor. Stop using this I'm not ready to pull the trigger mindset, because you are pulling the trigger by not doing anything. You're just deciding to do nothing. You're deciding to stay poor. You're deciding to do the same thing, get the same results, and be in the same place months and years from now. Money loves speed. Wealth loves time. It's going to take you time, just like it's taken you time to build the money that you've had in the bank, the title that you've had at the office, the family that you've created. Wealth takes time, but you start by making some money, and making money feels pretty damn good. But if you do neither of those, you are guaranteed to stay poor. So stop being indecisive and start getting wealthier. If this message helped you, please share it with somebody. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you back here next week.